Hello everybody, welcome back to the NLC where we have got our third game of the day coming up. UniQ going to be taking on Ruddy Esports. Both teams going to be buoyed by victories yesterday, but only one can get a 2-0 this week.
That is exactly right, Middlecote. I'm looking forward to UniQ. Honestly, I think that they're coming into this game, for me, my favourite. I think this may be, again, one of the games that are quite difficult to call. I haven't really been on it with predictions so far today, but I don't mind, holding that one up when the league is so close. But UniQ, for me, I've been particularly impressed by Rusty Sniper. Came into the league with a very successful Division 2 run just last spring, and has performed in Division 1 and done a good job at that performance as well. So keeping my eyes down on that bot lane, specifically since Toaster, and in week 1, Toaster had a fairly shaky start to the split. Did salvage that a little bit yesterday, but I think that this bot lane could be an area for UniQ to exploit.
I think Pui really stepping up as well on the Soraka yesterday, grabbing himself that MVP. But I think Zapdo and Waldo are also, key elements to both of these squads, because Zapdo, he was kind of playing a lot of these like melee carry style of champs last week, and it wasn't really working out on the Viego and the Maustie. On his Sejuani, a bit more tried and true for himself, did look very good, but Waldo also has a fair penchant for the ball lady, I guess. So I'm intrigued to see if we're going to have any priority on that, or whether we're going to be seeing any different styles coming out from these guys.
Well, if Ruddy from Spring is anything to go off of, they got their complimentary one Sejuani win, and then the jungler insists on banning it every game. I remember that from No Name in Spring, perma-banning the Sejuani. But of course, we've got the power of red side, which is just, well, all 3 bans are predetermined, and Ruddy on the blue side have the luxury of choosing what they want to take away.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be really interesting how they treat MV Carry, right? Because he is this guy with a lot of veterancy experience that has been playing these mostly melee-style laners, and he's had decent, I think, at times. I think particularly against Clover 7, he was really able to just disrupt what he wanted to do. But the thing about a lot of these melee carries is they need to be enabled in the draft phase.
Yeah, and specifically yesterday we saw Unicorn actually have a pretty tough time of things. Got focused a lot, but he was able to play a melee carry himself on the Aurelia and actually turn it back around. There's a high possibility for volatile mid lane, and champions like the Victor, which we've seen Unicorn default to, isn't necessarily a safe pick when you've got so many melee carries that can start to punish.
Rude dude. Red side bans, not particularly interesting, but that Sejuani priority. We've kind of seen that in the jungle, in the mid as well for Ruddy, but UniQ already got that response prepped.
Okay, so Jace Maokai. I'm a big fan of Maokai. I'm going to keep saying it every time he gets picked. Champ OP, good pick. We've seen the power of a Jace already today. Vladdy on natives having a stellar performance. We know that this pick can go both mid lane and can go top lane. And we get to see what Ruddy's response is going to be. They can opt into a double flex themselves. It's a Yasuo. Let's go. Early doors, Ruddy. Throwing some hands. And again, this is a champion that can go top lane, can go mid lane. They're on blue side, so they are going to have to either hold that flex until the 5th pick, and pick 2 solo laners that can go in both roles, or UniQ are going to have the option to counter this Yasuo.
Bro, I am getting flashbacks, right, to last split. Who was the support for Ruddy? Nash.
Yes,
this guy was a demon on Ricardo. And Pui, speaking to him, has said that one of the players that he really looks up to is Hylissang. So aggressive engages, I think, are in the blood of this Ruddy organization, are in the playstyle of their supports. And when you've got this Yasuo, potentially in the mid lane, potentially in the top lane, getting this additional setup is what you really need.
Answer from UniQ is a Cassiopeia, a champion with a W that grounds champions. So far, Ruddy have picked 3 picks that all have mobility and that all get destroyed by miasma. Very good counter pick already from UniQ, and again, is a pick that can go both mid lane and top lane. Now, we are testing the champion pools of our top laners a little bit there with a Cassio top. It's been done in the past, but we'll have to see whether or not Uko, for example, feels comfortable taking that, or if it is just going to go to Unicorn in the mid lane. I don't quite like that they revealed the flex so early. I think they could have got a little bit more of an advantage, but that just speaks to them having some spicy sauce ready for either the bot or any of the bot laners.
I don't know. Poopy's already played a Heimerdinger this split. Maybe there's some weird bot lane combo to come out, and we know that that's a strategy that they can employ. And when so much of your focus is going on to Rusty Sniper to be a carry here on this side at the UniQ, getting him as good a matchup in lane as possible is going to be at the forefront of your mind.
These bans tell me that we're seeing Jace go top lane. They are just taking out bad Jace matchups, right? As soon as you Q in hammer form onto an Olaf, you essentially kill yourself,
you lose,
because you then get chased out and you have no way out. So I'm quite happy with the Olaf bans if they now put Uko on that Jace in the top side. And I'm happy to see as well mid lane taken on 3 here if they are going to use that 5th pick for something entertaining. If it's R5 Nautilus, well, it can't be disbanded. But, you know, that same sort of vein. That's when I get a little sad.
That's what we're getting involved. UniQ, though, they're going to need to find a different AD carry for their AD carry, because we're not going to be seeing Rusty Sniper on the Aphelios, and they are so intent on getting this last pick on their AD carry. Poopy here, something a little bit less aggressive here on that Janna.
No, but you know what goes crazy? Is Ezreal. Okay, Ezreal goes crazy for UniQ, so Ruddy taking this away would actually be fairly smart, in my opinion, if they're trying to remove some of the power that could come through from that UniQ bot lane. With the Janna locked in, it's a very good disengage champion. The queen of disengage. Honestly, you've got 2 ways of preventing engage, and you also give your team movement speed when they're running away from a fight, if you're obviously the one leading that running away charge. So more than happy to see this Janna locked in. The Ezreal takeaway, we saw it played by Toasty yesterday as well, is very powerful in his hands. Ruddy, final pick in that top side. They know they're going to be going up against either a Jace or a Cassio, so they have to be happy with both those picks.
Yeah, and Kennen, I feel like you just take the range top laner. You're kind of happy with whatever matchup you're going to be going into. You can get varying amounts of lane pressure depending on your opponent, but the real key for this pick is about getting into team fights. It's about getting onto that backline, causing massive disruption with the slicing maelstrom.
Yeah, they need magic damage. They would have also preferred dive. They've locked in both, so I'm quite happy with that Kennen into the top side. The Jhin here for Rusty Sniper, a pick that I think was super powerful on 1310, hasn't quite translated over to the same power level on the Triforce patch, but is still exceptional at facilitating long-range damage, which is exactly what this UniQ composition wants to do. They want to keep Ruddy at arm's reach and be able to dish out damage from afar. Jhin, the best AD carry that you can look to do with that with, because you just open up the curtain, you set up for the Jace to be able to land some skill shots, you set up for your Cassiopeia to be able to chase down, and the Maokai ult to come through with all that CC layering over the top as well. This Jhin pick, very happy with it from UniQ, and I'm very happy that this bot lane can go their way. The engage from Pui is going to be very difficult onto a Janna. The all-in capabilities of an Ezreal early stages of the game, not particularly rife. And Jhin actually, as a bot laner, when paired with an Enchanter, can be a very aggressive lane bully.
Oh yeah, the movement speed that he just gets off of his crits is absolutely ridiculous, and his base damage pretty high as well. But for Ruddy, I'm getting a little bit more concerned, though, because we said that it was going to be difficult for Pui to find that engage. For Zapdo and Shihan, it feels like these champions can get shut down so massively by a well-timed monsoon coming out from Poopy.
And that's because they can. That's exactly why it feels like it is, because it's the case. And if we see Shihan flash in to immediately get monsooned, that's when it becomes difficult. And I think that Janna is actually such a high skill cap champion, because you have to position so well, time your monsoons so wisely. Otherwise, they just don't have the same effect. There is such a high barrier to how well a Janna can be played, and if it looks bad, it means that you lose the game. If it looks good, it means you win the game.
It sounds like a support main talking, I'm not going to lie, bro.
I'm an AD carry main, brother, don't you worry. Do you know how I know I'm saying this? Is because I've been killed so many times by champions that should have been saved by my Janna.
Yeah, some people really not good at that champion. So, but I think, like we're alluding to, it's nice to see some of this variety come out from Poopy as well. Like, I feel like we've kind of had him pigeonholed as this aggressive, make things happen player, but he is going to have to sort of facilitate a different role here. And I think Rusty Sniper is also going to have to be in a little bit of a different role, because Jhin, much more of a utilitarian style AD carry than what he's previously been playing.
And that's fine when we've paired it up with the Cassio in the mid lane, right? You have a hyper carry of sorts. It just comes from your mid lane now, as opposed to coming from the bot lane. And the one item spike as well for a Jhin, you mentioned the movement speed that you get from crits is crazy. The movement speed you get from Stormrazor procs is also crazy. So that's 50% of your shots, essentially, that are giving you insane movement speed. It means that safety in these team fights for a Jhin actually fairly easy to come by if you've not been locked down by CC.
Well, and there is a lot of CC on the side of
It's an important
Ruddy.
diff.
Yeah, if you do get caught out, you get massively caught out. And I think it's funny, Rude Dude, just regarding the state of the NLC, that we've got a Yasuo in the mid lane here for MV carry. But because we've been sort of burned by our Yasuos, I'm not really as excited as I feel like I should be.
The ghosts of Oman Week 1 Yasuo still very fresh in our brains, unfortunately. But I'm certainly looking forward to the synergy between Yasuo Sejuani, right? You're a melee solo laner looking to pair up nicely with Zapdo. It's not just the melee nature of a Yasuo. Also, every single Steel Tempest will activate the Permafrost.
Hui actually going for an aggressive ground entrance. Ignite is going to be dropped on top of Poopy's head. Rusty Sniper able to get that fourth shot on to Toaster. So Summoner Spell advantage for UniQ, but Ruddy with the first move into bot lane.
And now if they can zone off experience, actually this is really good for Ruddy. Not going to be able to do so. They would have had to play exceptionally aggressively past that wave. It probably wasn't worth the type of trade that they'd have had to go for. Looking quickly, Rusty Sniper opted into the refillable potion, suggesting that he's feeling very comfortable down on the spot side versus the triple potion that Toaster has gone for. So a little bit more sustain in the Ezreal's pocket for the time being. Of course, the overall payoff from a refillable potion certainly going to outweigh the triple health pot.
Yeah, and now that we've sort of panned over the mid laners, okay, Rusty Sniper having to flash away that level 2 all-in aggression coming out from Pui, and you've got the AD carries flash off the board for it.
And now Pui has flash as well, so should be able to just say, oh, okay, you've stepped a little too far forward. Once my cooldowns are back, I can probably kill you. And hopefully the synergy between both Pui and Toaster is going to be on point, and they can look to try and take that kill. Now is what we need to see Poopy really do a lot of work on this Janna. You want to start predicting when these engages are going to come through. There is a small fraction of time where you can interrupt Grand Entrance with the well-timed Tornado. So eyes are on the Janna to make sure that that can happen.
Yeah, eyes are on Zapdo now, though, as the Sejuani is finished her clear a little bit towards the top side and is not quite sure what to do with herself as UniQ is going to take that reset and then TP back into the mid lane. If Zapdo can find a gank off onto this Cassiopeia here, could be disastrous, actually.
The snowball capability of this mid matchup definitely very high, and we're going to get to see UniQ try and battle his way out.
Still has a flash, but is still going to get tagged. The Miasma going down, but it's not really able to interrupt Ruddy. MV carry flashing over the wall, picks up first blood.
Late flash from UniQ there. The fact that he gets knocked up just gives NV carry the free road in, and from there on in, no amount of flashing to safety is going to get you out alive. Great collapse from Zapdo and a really nice early gank from Ruddy, it has to be said. Zapdo was a player coming into this week that I've been really high on, even though they went 0-2 Toaster.
Toaster flashing over Autos to get the kill onto Rusty Sniper, and Poopy having to get it out of there for a bot lane that looked lost coming out of week 1. Pui and Toaster are finding 2v2 kills.
Wonderful performance. Last week they were getting 2v2. This week they're finding the 2v2s. This has been exclusively from the bot lane. No interference from Zapdo. No roams down to orchestrate wave states.
Oh, they've got another one.
Pui's just taken down Poopy as well. The curse of supports bot lane have been finally found between the names, and now we're getting to see Ruddy actually come out on top. Really strong performance from their bot lane duo. A complete turnaround from week 1.
It feels like that's kind of been the story of the NLC, right?
Yeah.
Hino and Seneca looking very, very good last game. And Toaster and Pui also putting in a decent shift. Uko, though, a little bit low on the top side. Different start for him here as... It's happened again! It's happened again, Rude Dude! They just keep killing people!
Another Q, double kill comes down. Toaster, I don't know if you can work his way out of this one. Glacial Augment.
No!
I don't know what noise that was. It was the only noise I could use to express how insane Toaster living there is. Down to every single click, like every single action from Toaster there is intentional. He's also attacking all the time, constantly making Poopy think, oh, am I gonna have to force some of the spells? Do I lose this at all? And then using his Q to get his E cooldown back up sooner.
Oh, it's happening again. Another mid lane gank that looks almost identical. And the result is exactly the same. A second kill for MV carry.
This has just been a dominant early game from Ruddy across the board. Right, Shihan in this top side is absolutely loving top lane this game. I have to do nothing. My team's 6-0. 2.5k gold lead. Zapdo did a really powerful gank in the early stages of this game, sacrificed a couple camps to make sure that he could go into the mid lane early on, punish Unicorn for stepping forward. Waljo's gank in the early stages of the game got him killed and gave Toaster another kill.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's not really worth it, as NLC fun fact, Cammy's father was a professional football coach and analyst.
Okay.
Sister psychologist, sister boyfriend. He could technically build an entire coaching staff for his family. I was just thinking that, really. It's like, hold on, Ruddy, how are we employing these people? I'm scrolling down on the Leadpedia, looking at the organisation. How many of the surnames are the same? What's really going on there?
Cammy, of course, the coach for Ruddy. So, you know, there's a lot of background there for the Ruddy coach, and even if we're seeing a little bit of issues from week number 1, at least the mental fortitude clearly hasn't been tarnished between weeks.
Yeah, and really that is coming out of that bot lane. Toaster's got a blue buff as well, just because he wasn't doing well enough.
In case his bot lane wasn't winning hard enough. Hold on, can we just take a quick second to acknowledge Waljo's position on the minimap right now? We forgive him for thinking that he was the blue side jungler. That's not the case.
I think he's doing a Brambleback impression. Maybe that's what he's going for. Ruddy, taking down the Drake.
Maokai closely resembles the red buff above all other camps,
Well,
I'd
he
say.
might run into Zapdo. Unicorn might be getting caught out in mid lane again. This time Puri with the aggressive action. And Waljo has somehow gotten further into the jungle, but I don't think he's been spotted.
So the thing is, Zapdo knows that his red buff should be up. He also knows that it's not up. So Waljo must be somewhere. The way that they're collapsed from the Drake, there's a Maokai somewhere in these walls, and it looks like just another kill is going to get funneled into Toaster.
If a tree falls in the forest, does Toaster get the kill? The answer is yes. 4-0-1 now, and he's very, very quickly getting towards that Trinity Force, which is also strong on this patch.
I don't know if we touched on Trinity Force yet at all, but for 13-11, no changes happened. The reason that this item is so powerful is because a lot of other AD carries items got nerfed. So Storm Razor got taken down a little bit, Gale Force got nerfed also, but Triforce never got touched on 13-11. So the extra movement speed that you get, it got increased from 3 seconds to 5 seconds after simply auto-attacking. Again, great synergy for Ezreal because you can auto-attack, quote-quote, with the Q. So you just get 5 seconds of extra movement speed every single Q. It's bonkers. That, for me, is the biggest change. Yes, there are a couple of other stats that all got increased that Ezreal loves as well. I think the extra movement speed really seals the deal as to this item being a little too powerful.
I've just had a thought, Ru. Waljo stole that red buff. Toaster got the kill. He's now got a red buff.
Yes.
It's
weird when a jungler is given 2 buffs before 5 minutes or before 10 minutes into the game to the enemy ADC. Certainly not a great position for Waljo this game.
Not at all. And for Rusty Sniper as well, I think this is probably the worst position that he's really been in so far in this NLC split. Kind of unique as a whole as well, coming out of this early game. What's the angle? Where do we start to pull this game back?
Numbers advantages, unfortunately. It's the honestly easy answer, but it's because UniQ can't now fight on even footing. Like, simply put, if it's an even numbers matchup, they're going to lose because they're getting checked everywhere. There's also the option, I will say, to try and make a 2v1 play in the top lane. It's the area of the map that hasn't completely crumbled just yet. Yep. Uko is ahead in farm versus Shihan. There's a world where you can use your Nature's Grasp into the top side, use the Jace damage with that serrated Dirk where there's no armor on the cannon to maybe find a kill, and then the poke of a Jace can maybe offset some of the disastrous looks of the rest of the map.
Ru, I'm hearing the M word a lot. I'm hearing a lot of maybes because, but for UniQ, it's not sure, right? And even though we're only 10 minutes into the game, with the way that it's been playing, even those options don't seem like they're certain for them.
Look at the mid lane CS differential as well. 20 up for NV carry. He's also orchestrated this wave so that Unicorn isn't just going to miss gold, but going to miss experience as well. This is the height of BM for Zapdo, where it's the gank that's not a gank.
Cool, Pui, not quite going to be able to get the knock up onto Rusty Sniper. The charm going to come through nonetheless. Flash away, as Monsoon is going to be able to heal him up. UniQ spot lane, able to avoid going down.
I mean, it's really cool that Rusty Sniper dodges out on a load of skill shots. Unfortunately, he just does no damage yet, right? This Noon Quiver not particularly helping him out when we're looking at a triple components of a Trinity Force Ezreal and Pui as well. just a much better duelist in terms of how much support damage you're going to get than a Janna.
Yeah, and now we're literally just waiting for that Trinity Force to emerge. Interesting here that Ruddy haven't been able to push as much towards this tower. And so whilst Toaster is in a decent spot, Rusty Sniper definitely far behind, Ruddy's bot lane haven't quite pushed the envelope as much as they could have done.
Haven't taken any plates, right? That gold lead, not necessarily stagnating by any means, but not getting pushed down in this bot lane. It's also worth mentioning that Rusty Sniper has managed to stay even on farm despite having died twice. Likelihood is just that every time you find kills as Toaster, you also want to take a reset, you want to spend the gold. So in the early game, the downtime between dying and then taking a reset doesn't tend to be so huge, and this disparity between CS not being present isn't a big deal for Ruddy, but it is worth mentioning that Rusty Sniper's doing a good enough job to try and keep on par.
Yeah, well, he's been able to get towards that Stormrazor, right? So kind of matching Toaster on that Trinity Force. Dragon spawning in 15 seconds, and both teams seem to want to contest it. Pui with a grand entrance into a last wisp from Envy Carry that's going to get one kill, probably going to get a second as well. Double for the Yasuo.
Wonderful stuff. Free there, taking inspiration from his predecessor of the Ruddy support. We've seen engages like that from Ruddy before, and it's nice to see that Free taking that mantle to heart. Double knock up, double last breath, both kills going to the Yasuo as well. Exactly what Ruddy would like to see. They can translate this into a dragon, the second one of the game going to go their way, and hopefully, with all being said and done, they'll roll themselves a fairly nice haul.
Yeah, but I mean, Uko's got a 15 CS lead.
Oh, good. Nice. I think that, yeah, I mean, if we take a look at the gold lead, actually, the 5k gold deficit, so close to being offset by the 15 CS lead. 300 gold top lane for Uko.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not great at maths, but
300 is less than 5,000. I can tell you that.
I just needed confirmation. Thank you very much.
That's why I'm here.
For UniQ, we're kind of looking for where they're going to get their first kill. Might be on the bot lane here, as Waljo is going to open up with an H's Graph. Pui flashing away, but still going to get rooted. Hit by that ultimate. Zapdo coming in to try and rescue his team. The Rakan is going to get taken down, but there's so much damage on Toaster that he can look for the cleanup. Poopy, the pretty damn smart Howling Gale there to prevent Ruddy from getting anything back.
So they do take out Pui there. Disappointing that Rusty Sniper isn't able to get the kill. Obviously, he's the carry that you would have wanted in that situation to find it. Nevertheless, it will accelerate the Maokai to his Demonic Embrace just that little bit faster and make that poke around objectives sting a little bit more so. Not the worst place for the gold to have gone. And with the Swifty Boots now picked up for Rusty Sniper, I'd like to think that he's going to be a lot safer in any skirmishes. We've seen already his movement actually be very good, dodging out on grand entrances. Now when he's got Fleet Footwork, Stormrazor, and Swiftness Boots, killing Jhin becomes very difficult. Yes, he's immobile in the sense that he doesn't have any dashes, but he does make up for it with the movement speed he gets.
Yeah, you're not got that point and click on UniQ, right? Unless Zapdo is going to be able to auto down Rusty Sniper to get that passive proc, but
he is not.
Yeah, that shouldn't be happening in this game. Everybody, MV Carry very rudely contesting Waljo at his Raptors, but he's 4-0. He's got a Gale Forces ready. I think he could do what he wants.
This has to be my least favorite part of the ADC item changes, is that now Yasuo and Yone build Gale Force. Uko, good luck.
It's unfortunate. He's able to trade damage down onto Shehan. MV Carry hasn't really got here in time. He's going to be able to turn up and get another kill for himself. Shehan not quite going to be falling down here, but it's good to see Ruddy take the lead and move it across the map even more.
There's that envelope pushing that you were after, right? Accelerating not just the mid lane now, but into that top side as well. Was the area of the map that we were saying was notably absent from Ruddy's domination. Now they're able to extend a little bit of pressure up there. They only lose a wave in the mid lane, and it's not particularly the worst case in the world because Shehan would have had to go back to base. NV Carry would have collected a couple waves anyway. And the likely is also just making sure that as many minions there die to the turret as possible, so that there's as little gold to be claimed by Uko when he gets back to this time.
And Rude, dude, I don't want to be presumptive, but I want to give the NLC official seal of approval to MV Carry's Yasuo. You are allowed to play Yasuo, my friend.
It's a hard seal to try and get, NV Carry, and we're proud of you so far. I'm going to hold off just yet. You have been a little bit presumptive.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest. We need to see a team fight break out. The mechanics so far for the laning phase, they've certainly been there. When a team fight breaks out, do you dash in, get CC'd, and die? That's the quintessential Yasuo move. So we need to see if that happens.
Yeah, the 5-0 can very quickly turn to an 0-5 if you aren't careful. And, I mean, UniQ are starting to get those tools online for themselves. We spoke about how Poopy is going to be really useful in team fights, but UniQ doesn't have an item yet, has to give up this mid lane tower. And as these advantages stack up for Ruddy, any compositional angles that UniQ have for themselves become harder to find.
It's also worth mentioning that UniQ's first item is going to be a Rod of Ages, so even when that first mythic comes through, it's going to take 10 minutes for you to get the full gold value out of the first mythic that you've picked up for yourself. That scaling aspect of the Cassiopeia delayed further and further. And again, another further to add on to that, because he finishes Rylet's Crystal Scepter before actually opting into the Rod completion. And there's no world where you want to turn this into an Abyssal Mask just to try and make the most out of the items as soon as possible. If you're building just MR for Shihan, I think that that's a massive mistake.
Yeah, but I think for UniQ, it's powered now, which UniQ kind of need, because honestly, I don't think you could afford to wait for that Rod of Ages to stack up all the way, because at 27 minutes into this game, Ruddy, with this gold lead, with the acceleration opportunities that they're going to have
Elder.
Could have ended the game.
Yeah, that's the more likely outcome there. So I'm on board. The Rylai's one, you've sold me. Thank you. And now we'll have to see whether or not that power now translates into anything, because they've got, I will say, parity in the bot lane. That's not specifically true, but they've got like a mythic and components.
Yeah.
The components are better for Toaster fundamentally, but Rusty Sniper is on that Stormrazor. The issue is that mid lane is so very, very different in how much gold they've got, that if NV carry is anywhere near these fights, I automatically give the win to Ruddy.
Yeah, and even if he isn't near the fights, he's probably going to be on a side lane, completely ruining someone's day, right? There isn't anyone on UniQ that can really match him, and it's another great performance coming out from a team that wasn't as favoured in week one. Woljo chasing forward onto Toaster is going to get rooted under the tower, but once again, Ruddy are here to back him up. Rusty Sniper getting the kill, flashing away over the wall as Shihan here with the Maelstrom, but not really able to find as much access as he would have liked. And UniQ, they're able to get a pick and walk away. Woljo not going to be lucky enough, although with the flash, he's able to get out of there.
All right. You know what? Good stuff. I'm happy. That is as good as you can hope for. You're going to lose the dragon. You were down 5k gold at 17 minutes. A kill onto the enemy AD carry, shut down for Rusty Sniper. That's a win for UniQ, and a big win as well, given the state of this game. Taking a fight in the mid lane and coming out on top of that, beautiful. Rusty Sniper goes back to base, finishes off Zeal, gets a BF sword as well. Means that Gale Force only about 1,000 gold now away from completion. And if you can hit that 2-item spike on the Jhin, gives you that extra layer of mobility, and taking down the Jhin in a team fight becomes a lot more difficult. The well-known, notorious problem of Jhin is that he can't solo carry games. He just doesn't do enough damage, right? It's going to take him at least 3 chambers to get through Zapdos health exclusively.
Yeah.
And then you've got to focus everybody else in the team if you're in a 1v9 spot. Now, of course, he's got UniQ on there, but all of the gold is funneled so far into this Jhin, and that's the one that you're looking to do the damage.
And credit to UniQ for sort of keeping parity on one of their key members, because if you look across the other side on Toaster, yes, he was able to get all of those kills, but he hasn't even completed the Mana Moon yet, and getting that Muramana transformation is where that Ezreal really just become that disgusting 2-item carry that we know that he can be.
Yeah, I think he's going to go back and finish it off now. Nevertheless, you're quite right that it is still fairly late. Poopy, MVP base stopping right there. We've got a Baron spawning in exactly 9 seconds' time. I don't know that Ruddy are as far enough ahead as I would like them to be, but what they do have is a Yasuo. Yasuo and Ezreal actually do take down Barons very quickly, so if they want to shift Envy carry out of a side lane into this Baron pit, it does mean that that neutral objective can be secured very quickly.
Yeah, and UniQ on the bot side, just without that TP for a little bit, is going to need to be careful of his positioning on the map to ensure that Ruddy can't take this one away. Has now got that Rod of Ages on the Cassiopeia, so 2 items completed, maybe. There's an angle there.
We're going to be getting the fully stacked Rod on that 30-minute timer. If they can survive that long in the game, then they're doing well.
Oh, Sheerhand finding a pick hit onto Woljo. Okay, not necessarily the priority target, but the Monsoon isn't going to be enough to keep him alive as Pui once again finding access and finding a double kill.
It really hurts to watch. Really good engage from Pui once again. The follow-up from NV Carry. We saw it at the Drake fight. Just as we hit level 6, we get to see it once again as we get later into the game. This time the stakes much more important. Baron gonna go down. Ruddy running away with the game as they have been from minute number 3. Beautiful execution between Pui and NV Carry. I'm so happy to see this pairing synergize well. They picked the Rakan, they picked the Yasuo, 2 champs that go together great on paper. But as you'd mentioned, Middlecop, we haven't seen the Yasuo comps play so well. This game, it's a complete contrast.
But you've got to also give credit to Sheerhand, right? He was the guy finding that initial pick onto Woljo, and yeah, maybe the Maokai isn't the priority target, but you just need to get that team fight started, and the rest of Ruddy are ahead enough that they can take that ball and run with it. 13 kills, taken down that top lane tower. They've got a Cloud Soul in 2 minutes. For UniQ, it's trying to grab objective bounties on random parts of the map, but UniQ, he's going to try and take that recall in the bottom lane. NV Carry looking to punish.
Flash burned by UniQ. Falls anyway. NV Carry manages to follow up with their own flash. 1 minute 40 before that Cloud Soul comes up. And I'm looking at the champions that get Cloud Soul. I can't think of a single support that functions better with Cloud Soul than Rakan. I think that Kennen with a Cloud Soul is devastating as well. Just those 2 things are enough to make UniQ need to contest this Soul. The fact is, they just can't.
Side lane's not going well for them. Pui with another engage onto Woljo. And this tree, it's made of paper, honestly, the way it's been cut down. NV Carry with another kill for himself, and this is going to open up the bot lane for Ruddy.
Potentially that mid lane as well. It really does just depend where they want to put their resources. NV Carry can comfortably take that side lane on his own. Zapdo flexing forward in the mid lane, more than capable of zoning away these 3 members of UniQ. And look at the damage that Rusty Sniper put down, right? That's 3 auto attacks onto Zapdo. He lost maybe 300 HP cumulatively, and he's built no armor outside of the bits that you get from Radiant Virtue.
And I love that from Zapdo. You know that all you need to do is put your body in the way. You don't need to go forward, try and find an engage, especially without the ultimate. You just need to be there, and UniQ cannot get past you. That dragon going to be spawning in 30 seconds. And whilst the inhib towers looking pretty nice for UniQ, they have lost so much real estate out of their base.
They've lost all the real estate, actually, out of their base. They are down to just the capital. Now they have to make sure that nothing else in their base falls down. The outlying villages have all been collapsed. Unfortunately, there's not a right lot else that they can do. They're foraging into the wilderness as UniQ here clears out 1 more ward, but that's about as good an objective as they can hope to claim. It is just dark inside all of the bot side jungle. This blue side is just lit up for Ruddy. The Soul, an inevitability at this point.
And UniQ, well, they're going to have maybe 1 more opportunity to defend their capital, although NV Carry and the rest of Ruddy are looking like Katniss Everdeen right now, if we're being perfectly honest.
I'm a fan of the Wit's End as well, just to keep adding credit to NV Carry. I think the only way that he recognises that he dies is if he gets caught in a load of Cassiopeia damage. A little bit of extra MR certainly going to help out in that. The Hearthbound Axe component as well gives him movement speed as well. It just all looks good.
Yeah, I mean, Ruddy only playing on 2 waves now, as that top lane wave is nowhere near UniQ's base. And without the Baron, it is going to be a little bit tougher for them to push in, but committing heavily to this bot lane, they're able to get that tower down to 50% HP. Zapdo with a more defensive ult than anything to prevent the engage coming through from UniQ as UniQ falls to 40% HP. And
now UniQ have to decide, are they going to defend their mid lane tier 3 or are they going to let Ruddy walk in? Remember, this Cloud Soul means that moving between maps, or moving between lanes, very easy for them. And they can probably match UniQ on these rotates. Every single time they're forced to defend a wave, Ruddy are there to make sure that they are putting pressure down and stagnating how quickly UniQ can clear these waves.
And it's just a health bar diff that emerges over time. UniQ caught opening up with the Petrifying Gaze, but getting engaged on himself as Ruddy take the tower, but they'll take the rest of UniQ. Great Monsoon to interrupt Sheerhand's engagement. NV Carry diving forward on the Yasuo, only getting able to get 1 with that ultimate as Rusty Sniper flashing away, opening up with the curtain call and able to fire the shots down. Ruddy on the run. UniQ, maybe they can find a fight here, but UniQ doesn't quite have the damage to take out Toaster as Sheerhand punishes the over-aggression with death.
Beautiful team fighting from Ruddy. Every single member using every fraction of their health bar. Their Toaster even steps up because he's the healthiest member. Puts his body in the way of his rest of his team. Knows that Shihan, Pui, Envy Carry all on just slithers of HP. Somebody's got to step up, and even though he's the AD carry, the way to keep his team alive is by going forward, zoning out UniQ. And then when Uko commits just a fraction too far, gets a little too high for given the situation, he's punished. Now UniQ, he thinks he can push him mid-wave. That's just a mistake.
You are not allowed to stand here anymore. The rift belongs to Ruddy. The snake will try and kite away, but MVK will teleport behind her from across the map and get their 9th kill. He is hunting for double digits. A Rusty Sniper will be number 10. Ruddy with 2 taken down. Look for a final push. They don't care about that mid lane. They've got a wave in bot that they're going to use to take down these towers.
And the inhibitor that they prepared earlier will enable their second win of the split. Beautiful performance from Ruddy. 2 Nexus turrets and maybe some more kills to come.
UniQ putting up the defense, but it will not be enough. Woljo taken out by Pui as Envy carries back into the fountain to finally take out the Yasuo. And actually, with the respawns coming through, UniQ able to mount the defense. They're not done just yet.
All right, but 2 inhibitors are going to fall. The Baron spawning in 5 seconds time. A reset now for Ruddy. And they might well benefit from waiting for Shihan, waiting for Envy Carry to respawn before heading over to the big purple worm. But the likelihood is that they should be able to get this Baron, close out this game very easily, play through the top lane, the only lane where they don't have an inhibitor down, and then find their second win of the split. Really good performances from Ruddy, and nice to see that they're having a little bit of fun as well under those Nexus turrets, showboating a little bit, and we got to see Envy Carry. Honestly, I'm now willing to give him the seal of approval.
Yeah.
Because even when he went into the team fight, got knocked up, CC'd and died, that wasn't really replicable, right? That was a Janna Monsoon into a JC into the fountain twice. I'm going to give him a pass on that.
Well, he's simultaneously being your team's Yasuo and the enemy team's Yasuo, right? He's getting really fed and carrying like the Yasuo or the enemy team always seems to do, but he's also had that little bit of fun with the champion as well. UniQ going for a contest here, but they need to be careful that their base doesn't fall. UniQ's taken a back, taken a reset to try and take care of these waves, so UniQ, they're playing for the Baron. The fight maybe a little bit too risky.
Remember, the Cass has CP and there's a blast cone here. Ruddy needs to do a bit of work.
Oh, Shihan, not really sure who he's going to be jumping onto. It's Uko going down, and Ruddy, they go over the wall, they disengage from the Baron, and they kill every single member of UniQ that they can. 4 off the board. UniQ just left trying to defend these waves, but he's not going to be able to do it.
I'm not sure what little bro was thinking stepping up here, maybe just going for the valiant effort. Toaster picks up the ace, Ruddy pick up their second win. Baron be damned, they've got the game in their sights.
And I thought that NLC Summer Split would be a little bit different, but Ruddy show up, they make it a T0, they're back.
Well,
especially after a really disappointing performance for their back half in the playoffs for spring, to have an 0-2 week, it looked like it could just be the complete downfall. But week 1 to week 2, the complete switch up is so nice to see.
Fantastic, right? I think that's the big thing as well. Also, that's very good for my predictions because I had Ruddy both yesterday and today, so I am the true believer.
No, you should be able to get it, Ruddy. I think you may have muted the tab accidentally there, bro.
Oh.
Are we doing interesting things here? All right, Milka, while Ruddy fixes his tech yet again today.
I'm good, you're back.
Yeah.
MVP, can we talk about that one for a second here? Because a lot of stars, honestly, because you had the bot lane in the early game, then in the mid game and late game, Envy carry on that Yasuo really taking over the game.
Yeah, I think that this was really a game about 2 lanes. It was about that bottom lane, and it was about that mid lane. Toaster and Pui really showing up. So many like 2v2 kills that we weren't even able to capture all of them on the stream. But for me, I think the player that I needed to see more from the most was Envy Carry in the mid lane. And to do it on a Yasuo, a champion that has had its problems in the NLC, very, very impressive. And for me, that puts him just over the edge.
You agree, Ruddy?
Yeah, I'll allow it, especially since we're taking the trend of you got MVP yesterday, so you can't get it today. I would put an honourable mention in for Pui because his engages were enabling NV carry to get mega fed, and the couple double kills that we got to see from the Yasuo were off the back of Rakan engages.
Yeah.
But I think that his really powerful laning phase as well spoke for itself here, NV carry. So I think that Ruddy just team-wide, honestly, had a really strong performance. Argument to be made that Shihan didn't look as good as the rest of the team, but that's not a detriment to him. That's just speaking on how well the rest of his team played, because they were all so far ahead and Shihan just kind of went, well, cool, I guess I'll take the win, thank you. Like, he didn't lose, he went in his lane gracefully and came out still finding successful slicing maelstroms, still setting up engages for the team, doing everything you expect from a Kennen when you get later into the game. He just did it again, like maybe halfway through the game as opposed to from the get-go.
I think the real thing for me for Shihan is, like, he clocked in the morning. His boss asked him, like, 2 hours before his shift end, he's like, do you want to do any overtime? Do you want to do any more than you have to? And he was like, nah, I don't really feel like it. He did his job this game, and that's what he needed to do, fundamentally, in this comp.
Awesome. I agree with all these things. We have an interview ready here with the Ruddy camp, so let's cut to that one as we are going to sing. So hello here. Hello, Paul. I believe that... can you hear me?
Sorry, 2 secs, please. 2 secs, guys, please. Yep. So the bald head cream and the dry knees, can we get a 2-in-1? No? They have to be separate? Okay. Thank you, Mo. Thanks very much. Thank you. Bye. Bye. This is what I mean about your generation. There's no respect. You know, there's a man here working, doing his craft. I'm trying to make money for myself, not my family, they're not around. I'm the top of my craft. You're an interviewer, you know, Patrick, and yet you're interrupting. Can we just a bit of respect? And you know what? It's not your fault. It's a generational thing. I blame it on the tactic. The tactic dances, all that is ruined a generation. Because what can you do when that's infecting the minds? Do you know what I mean? Because what happened to the Roy Keane and Vieira battles in the midfield? Do you know what I mean? The grimy grinds in the midfield. I'm talking battles. And let's not go into what happened in the tunnel with Gary Neville-Weevil, because I know what was said. ESPN 10 years. I've got the inside source. But it grinds my gear. Do you know what I mean? You can see I'm working. I'm talking to Mo, all right? M on top of the head, not McDonald's. Multiple Olympic golds. But I'm sorry for rambling. I'm an old guy, all right? I get like that sometimes. You'll get there when you get to my age. But anyway, what happened in the game? I didn't watch it. What was going on?
I mean, it was a Ruddy stomp, which I assume that due to your connection to the Ruddy camp, you are going to be quite delighted with.
Ruddy stomp? We won the game?
Ruddy stomped and won.
So we won the game. Okay, that's good. Yep, Ruddy up. I mean, did anyone play particularly well?
I mean, I'll say Shihan, Toaster, Pui as well. Really doing their job. Really keeping up the positive notes from yesterday, which I assume were something that you're going to be able to spin some good stories on.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know any of the players, if I'm being honest. One guy didn't eat fruit. That's all I've got, really. And on a side note, actually, shout out to Regan for that speech. That really, mate, that grabbed the heart for me. That's what we need. We need more of that passion. Speak to the players like that. Get them involved. Rile them up. I was loving it. That's why I'm here. You know, a lot of people said to me, you saw it all over the papers. Everyone did. Patrick Paul Patrice, the Ruddy, biggest downgrade since Jack Wilshere after the Barcelona performance. But I'm here for the passion. That speech is what brought me here. And I'm here. I'm bringing my fans. We're going to boost this scene together. Do you know what I mean? But listen, if you got any questions for me, feel free to ask interviewer to interviewer.
What would you think would be a good question to ask you? You are by far the more advanced and better interviewer of the two of us.
Do you know what? I'm glad you said that. I really am. You know what? That's a great asset you've got there. Willing to learn, willing to understand. You see somebody with more years, more experience. That's exactly why I was when I was your age. Listen, if you want some tips and tricks, I can give you some tips and tricks, some pointers. I can do that. Do you know what? I like you. I like you a lot. We'll do a little learning session then, if that's what you want. You want to learn? We can learn. Myself, I'm a bit of a practical learner. You know, I get the body involved. I feel like you get the body involved, the mind's involved. Do you know what I mean? So I get what we'll do. What can we do? I'll pose you a question, and let me see how it feels, and we'll work our way from there. You know, you did drama in school. You know how it works. A little bit of the EBGBs. Anyway, I see a lot of people in the industry, they ask the question, they're sitting like this, legs wide open, like they're on the Jubilee line. You get signal there nowadays. You want to sit like this, you know what I mean? You're in your element, all right? But what a lot of people are asking, how are you feeling? How would you respond to that question?
That question is like it's a classic go-to, right? And I think it's the one that it's just being you always get like very binary answers from that. Either it's like very good or it's fantastic, right? Like it's very bad. It's a very shallow question. What would you pose instead?
I mean, you're nearly there, but you're not. You're nearly there, but you're
All right.
not. You're open-minded. You've got potential. Because if anybody,
this is very very learnful and very good for me as well. But I have a producer in my ear, you know that's telling me to cut the line because we have
the producer don't interrupt me. I am the producer. I'm the producer. Okay, listen. Two tips. Is that me gone or am I on the screen? I don't know. I don't care.
You're still there. You're still there.
I run everything.
Make it fast. Make it fast.
I don't. Listen. If somebody asks you how you're feeling, don't react like that. All right? You punch them straight in the nose. That's your job as an interviewer. There's standards up there, mate. All right? If I ask you, I know you're on a screen, so you can't punch me. The fire alarm's gone off. I don't know why. I think it's because I'm on fire right now. I'm that hot. All right? The best interviewer in the world. We'll end it there. If someone asks you that question again, get mad at them. If you can't punch them, verbally abuse them. I love everyone. Love you all. Thank you.
Yeah. That was one of the interviews of all time for sure. But guys,
No.
God.
Thank you, Patrick, for taking the time out of your very busy day.
Yeah, legend of the game. So you gotta respect royalty, right? I think that's
Stay safe.
I mean, genuinely, like his coverage of women's handball over the years has been exemplary. So I think,
and then in the UK as well, right? Like,
yeah, honored to be graced with his presence, really.
So I had some other like fun little bits we could talk about because I was kind of wondering for a while at the start, like funneling stuff into a toaster. Like, what would that be like? Like the most fit? Like, what would be the most practical thing to funnel into a toaster?
Hold on 1 second, because these are two very different conversations that we're having. You need toaster the player. In that case,
Yeah, because you're talking about like you're talking about like funneling into toaster, right? So I wrote that down. Like I kind of like started like workshopping in my head, but truth be told, I have not owned a toaster for like 15 years, so I honestly don't know what people would put in the toaster outside of toast. So like I'm trying to figure out like is there like anything we could like funnel?
Something wrong.
Don't put toast in a toaster. What are you doing, Victor? Come on, bro.
You put bread in the toaster.
I mean, the only toaster that I've owned, I don't want to like I interact with toast on a daily basis when I queue up for League of Legends, though, right? So that's you know.
Sure, that one went over my head. I'm going to be honest, but I'll allow it. To answer your question,
Okay.
funneling toast to the AD carry for Ruddy Esports goes pretty well. You put some early gold onto him. He's able to neutralize a bot lane that, for me, coming in was one that I was expecting him to look weaker in. For me, what was the more impactful part was you get a little bit of a lead into Toaster, especially on Ezreal. It means your support is able to leave him on an island. He's able to farm with Mystic shots, and then he's able to win the game mid lane. That was very good.
Yes, and someone that
MVK over the line was that big deal for Ruddy, though. I think being able to get him to a strong point, accompanying Toaster, was the real key for me.
With that being said, we have another interview ready. This time with Ruby of UniQ Esports. Hello, mate. Not the. You're now the unlucky Poopy. So kind of like take us through like this transition from Poopy to unlucky Poopy.
Well, it started out with me getting the name on the tournament roll, and it just happened to be too long. I couldn't have the team tag as well as the unlucky Poopy, so I swapped to Poopy. That simple.
So yeah, so I have actually been calling it the wrong name all this time. It should have been unlucky Poopy and not just Poopy.
Yeah, I mean both works. Both works. No worries.
Awesome. So you got to play Janna this game. How does that feel? Because in the bot lane, it didn't look like you guys had so much fun. I will say.
Yeah. The presumption in Champions X we had was that Janna would be a decent pick into the Rakan and the general like theme of enemy comp. They want to dive in, but we presumed that with the ADC counter pick we would get the hard shove bot, but we didn't end up getting that. And the two choices I was standing in between was Janna and or Heimdringer. So, like in hindsight, I would probably have gone Heimdringer to secure the prio we could have bot, and that's gonna alleviate some pressure from mid lane. And we could also have a bit more playmaking, because now we're basically waiting for Maokai on the Voljo to have flash up or ult up, and when Ezreal has cleanse as well, it makes it super hard to be proactive bot lane.
Yeah, because we saw that Heimerdinger work really well for you yesterday, I believe, right? Where like you had a great showing on that, if I recall correctly. So could have made a lot of sense, I suppose. I'm very happy personally to see Janna get played. It is actually my most played support. I don't know what that says about me. You're free to judge me for that one, by the way, if you want to. But
no worries.
So
I'm a real Janna enjoyer myself, so I don't mind.
Based. I will say that much. So also, like, just your thoughts on this week as a whole. Obviously not the greatest of weeks, but what are your like main takeaways from this week?
We really need to work on our melee game, and even in scrims we have to like keep in mind to not leave Voljo as the solo like CC or engager. Like we need more playmakers in the team to make it more viable. We can't just rely on one person to do the work of 5 people. And I think that's gonna be one of my biggest jobs, to secure a pick which is relevant to the lane as well as providing to the team comp as well. Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's a great answer. I love getting the insights into like what you guys personally are trying to work on to improve and really step this up. With that being said, any closing notes that you have here before we throw it to a break?
Not really. Very upsetting loss today, but that just leaves way more room to improve, and that's always something to look forward to. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time on Luki Poopy. We will hopefully talk to you next week in a more joyful state after a victory. And we're going to take a quick break here on the NLC stream as we prepare for the final game of the day. Don't go anywhere.